So, if you're in finance or investing, you've probably noticed that the old rules of risk and return, they're being completely rewritten. Today, we're diving into a really powerful new paradigm from the book Ecoeconomics. It's a framework that makes the case that the most durable, most resilient profitability is now directly linked to ecological sustainability.
In this quote, it just perfectly captures the high-stakes choice we're all facing, right? One path is just business as usual, a road that we now know leads to more and more volatility and systemic risk. But that other path, the one that integrates sustainability, well, that one leads toward a future of real, lasting profitability and, a healthier planet.
So, why is this choice so urgent? Why now? The truth is, our current economic model is basically operating on borrowed time. We're seeing unprecedented environmental turmoil and resource depletion, and that's creating systemic risks that investors, frankly, just can't afford to ignore anymore. The warning signs are all flashing bright red.
And what's really fascinating is how deep this blind spot goes. For decades, right, environmental costs were just written off as externalities, somebody else's problem down the line. But here's the thing, those costs are now coming due. They're showing up on the balance sheet, which makes that old path not just unsustainable, but just not a smart move anymore.
This is exactly where ecoeconomics comes in. And let's be clear, this is not about sacrificing profit for the planet. It's a whole new compass, one designed to guide us toward a future where the two are reconciled, where they actually start to drive each other forward.
The core idea is actually pretty simple. Our economic systems have to respect the planet's boundaries. But this isn't about charity. It's about embedding environmental and social factors directly into every single financial decision. You could say this is the future of strategic risk management and growth all rolled into one.
And this, right here, this is the huge mental shift we're talking about. We're moving away from that old, linear take-make-waste model to a circular one. A model where waste isn't waste anymore. It's redesigned out of the system and becomes a valuable resource. Sustainability becomes the default setting, not some optional add-on.
Okay, so how does this idea actually translate into a powerful business case? Because, and this is so important, this is not just an ethical argument anymore. The evidence is becoming crystal clear. Embedding sustainability is fast becoming a primary source of competitive advantage.
And these pillars show exactly how it works. On one hand, you're driving profitability through things like innovation and waste reduction. On the other, you're building resilience by getting ahead of regulations and attracting the best talent, who, by the way, are demanding more purpose from their work. It's like playing both offense and defense for your business at the same time.
And this isn't just theory, right? We're seeing this play out with some of the biggest names out there. Unilever's sustainable living brands are massively outperforming the rest of their portfolio. Patagonia has built this incredibly loyal, almost evangelical customer base all around its ethical stance. And Google's early move to go carbon neutral, it's given them a huge advantage in managing energy costs and volatility.
Just let that number sink in for a second. 69% faster growth. That is not a rounding error. That is a loud and clear market signal that sustainability is now a primary driver of performance. It just proves this isn't about feeling good. It's about doing really, really well financially.
Okay, so if that kind of performance makes the why crystal clear, let's talk about the how. Because the financial landscape is already evolving, with tools designed to fund and enable this exact transformation.
You'll probably recognize a lot of these instruments. Green bonds are already channeling billions into environmental projects. Impact investing is looking for measurable social returns alongside financial ones. And tools like sustainability-linked loans are really gaining traction. Think about it. These are loans where a company's interest rates are literally tied to how well they perform on clear sustainability targets. The capital and the tools are here. So here's a pretty clear roadmap for how to weave sustainability into corporate strategy. And it absolutely has to start at the top, with leadership buy-in. From there, you figure out your current footprint so you can set credible, measurable goals. But the real work? That's in step 4, baking these goals into the core business, from the supply chain to R&D. And then, and this is crucial, you measure and report that progress transparently. It creates a feedback loop for getting better and better. It's a strategic cycle, not just some one-off project.
And all of this brings us to the most important part of the conversation. Your role in all this. This huge economic shift, it's not going to happen on its own. It needs catalysts. It needs champions. And as finance professionals, your expertise is exactly what's needed to make it a reality.
So here's the bottom line. You are not just a spectator here. As a steward of capital, you are in one of the most powerful positions there is, to direct investment, to challenge the old models, and to champion the businesses that are building a truly sustainable future. You literally have the leverage to reshape entire markets.
The principles are clear, the business case is absolutely compelling, and the tools are already available. The stage is totally set for a massive transformation. So the only question left is, what role are you going to play?